Have you looked down at your ankles lately and barely recognized them? That tight, heavy feeling in your lower legs that makes your shoes feel 2 sizes too small by the end of the day? This condition affects millions of seniors, and the frustration is real. When you press into your ankle and watch a dent stay there for several seconds, that's called pitting edema, and it's a sign that something important needs your attention. But here's what your doctor might not be telling you. Yes, swollen legs can be related to your heart, kidneys, or liver. But there's something else far more common, especially for those of us over 60, and it's completely fixable without diuretics or blood thinners. I'm Dr. Emily Carter, and today I'm going to show you the real reason your legs are swelling and the 3 simple nutrients that can help you see results within days, not months. When you look up swollen legs online, you'll find all sorts of complicated medical explanations. But let me break this down in a way that actually makes sense and shows you exactly what's happening inside your body right now. Inside every single cell in your body, you have millions of tiny pumps working around the clock. These pumps move fluid in and out of your cells, keeping everything balanced and functioning properly. The specific pump we're talking about today is called the sodium-potassium pump, and when it stops working efficiently, that's when you start seeing the swelling. Here's something fascinating about this pump. It uses about 30 to 40% of all the energy your cells produce. Think about that for a moment. Almost half of your cellular energy goes just to keeping fluid balanced in your body. Now imagine what happens when that pump starts to fail. It's like what happened in my basement years ago. When the sump pump stopped working, we had a foot of water flooding the floor within hours. When the pumps in your cells stop working properly, you get fluid pooling in your lower legs and ankles instead of staying where it belongs inside your cells. The medical term for this is interstitial fluid retention, which simply means fluid is collecting outside your cells instead of inside them. And for those of us over 60, this becomes even more common because of one specific problem that gets worse as we age. Now here's where it gets really interesting, and this is the part most doctors don't explain clearly enough. When you eat sugar or refined carbohydrates, something called glycation happens in your bloodstream. Let me show you exactly what this means. Picture a protein bar representing the protein in your blood called hemoglobin. Now imagine a marshmallow representing sugar. When you eat sugar, that marshmallow gets stuck to the protein bar, and here's the critical part: it doesn't come off. Once sugar attaches to your blood proteins, it stays there permanently until that blood cell dies, which takes about 3 months. This is actually what the A1C test measures when you go to your doctor. It's checking how much sugar is stuck to your blood proteins over the past 3 months. The more sugar you eat, the more gets permanently attached to these proteins, and eventually, those proteins can't do their job anymore. What's their job? Carrying oxygen and nutrients throughout your body. When these proteins get coated with sugar, they can't carry oxygen efficiently anymore. Your circulation suffers, blood flow decreases, and that's when you start seeing fluid pooling in your lower legs and feet, especially if you've been sitting or standing for extended periods. But it gets worse. This glycated protein also damages the inside walls of your blood vessels, making them leaky. So now the fluid that should stay inside your blood vessels starts escaping into the surrounding tissue. That's the puffiness and swelling you're experiencing. There's another effect that many seniors don't realize. When sugar levels stay elevated, your body starts holding on to sodium, and wherever sodium goes, water follows. That's why the swelling can be so dramatic and uncomfortable. Plus, a mineral called potassium gets locked up in this process, and that makes the whole situation even worse. Over time, if this continues, you'll start noticing other symptoms beyond just swelling. You might feel numbness or tingling in the bottoms of your feet, maybe a burning sensation. Doctors call this peripheral neuropathy, and it's a sign that the nerves in your feet are being affected by poor circulation and these glycated proteins. You don't have to be diabetic for this to happen. Even if you're not pre-diabetic but you're heading in that direction, you can absolutely experience this fluid retention. That's exactly where I was years ago. Now let me share the solution that changed everything for me. There's one vitamin that's absolutely critical for fixing this problem, but it works best when combined with two essential minerals. Let's start with those minerals first. The first mineral is potassium, and this is where many seniors run into trouble. Your body needs a substantial amount of potassium every day, about 4,700 milligrams. Now, you've probably heard that bananas are high in potassium, and they are, but one banana only gives you about 300 milligrams. Quick math tells us you'd need to eat nearly 16 bananas every single day to meet your potassium needs. That's not realistic, and honestly, that's way too much sugar, which would just make the swelling worse. So where should you get potassium instead? Avocados are excellent. A medium avocado gives you nearly 1,000 milligrams. Leafy greens like spinach and Swiss chard are fantastic sources. Surprisingly, berries are also good options because they give you potassium without excessive sugar. You can also find quality electrolyte powders, but make sure they don't contain hidden sugars or artificial sweeteners. The second mineral is magnesium, and this one is crucial for energy production. Magnesium is behind something called ATP, which is literally the energy currency of your body. Without adequate magnesium, those sodium-potassium pumps we talked about earlier simply can't function properly. You'll also experience muscle cramps, especially at night, and you'll feel more tired than usual. The good news is you don't need as much magnesium as potassium. The recommended amount is about 420 milligrams daily. You can get this from pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, almonds, and again, those leafy greens. Dark chocolate is actually a good source too, as long as it's high quality with at least 70% cacao and no added sugars. Both potassium and magnesium will help repair those cellular pumps. But here's what most people miss. They don't address why the pumps broke down in the first place. That brings us to the most important nutrient of all. The vitamin that changes everything is vitamin B1, also called thiamine. Let me explain why this is so critical, especially if you've been eating a typical American diet with refined carbohydrates. When you eat sugar or refined carbs, your body has to break them down into glucose and then convert that glucose into energy. There's one specific step in this process that absolutely requires vitamin B1. Without adequate B1, this step can't happen efficiently, and your body can't properly use the food you eat for energy. Here's the problem. Refined carbohydrates and sugar don't contain B1. White bread, white rice, pasta, cookies, crackers, all these refined foods have had the B1 stripped out during processing. So when you eat these foods, your body has to pull B1 from its reserves in your tissues, organs, and glands just to process what you ate. Over time, especially as we age and our nutrient absorption decreases, you develop a B1 deficiency. And when you run low on B1, several things happen. Your cellular energy production drops. Those sodium-potassium pumps can't work properly. Fluid starts accumulating in your lower legs. And you also lose the protective effect that B1 has on your nerves. B1 acts as a powerful antioxidant specifically for your nervous system. This is why a B1 deficiency often shows up as peripheral neuropathy, that tingling, numbness, or burning sensation in your feet. B1 also protects you from glycation, that sugar-protein binding we discussed earlier. It literally helps keep the sugar and protein separated so your blood cells stay healthy and your circulation remains strong. So here's your complete action plan for getting rid of swollen legs and ankles. You need all three of these nutrients working together: potassium, magnesium, and especially vitamin B1. Start by adding more potassium-rich foods to your daily diet. Make a morning smoothie with berries and add half an avocado. Have a large salad with your lunch loaded with leafy greens. Snack on a handful of pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds in the afternoon for your magnesium. These simple additions can make a dramatic difference. For vitamin B1, you have a few good options. Nutritional yeast is one of the richest natural sources, and you can sprinkle it on salads or vegetables. Sunflower seeds also contain B1, along with that magnesium we talked about. Pork and fish are good animal sources if you eat meat. Many seniors find that a high-quality B-complex supplement is the most reliable way to ensure adequate B1 intake, especially if digestion has become less efficient with age. But here's the part you absolutely cannot skip. You must reduce or eliminate refined carbohydrates and added sugars from your diet. I know that sounds challenging, but think about it this way. Every time you eat white bread, pasta, sugary desserts, or drink soda, you're creating more glycation in your bloodstream. You're forcing your body to use up precious B1 reserves. You're making those cellular pumps work harder with less fuel. The swelling will come back every single time you return to eating refined carbs. I learned this the hard way. When I cleaned up my diet and focused on whole foods, lean proteins, healthy fats, and plenty of vegetables, the swelling disappeared. My energy returned. That puffiness in my face that you could see in old photos went away completely. Within just a few days of following this approach, you should notice your ankles looking more defined. Within a week or two, you'll probably need to tighten your shoes because the swelling will have decreased so much. Give it a full month, and you might be amazed at how different your legs look and feel. The best part is, you're not just treating a symptom with a medication that has side effects. You're actually fixing the underlying problem by giving your body the nutrients it needs to function properly and removing the foods that were causing the damage in the first place. I want you to imagine what life will feel like when you can look down at your ankles and see definition again. When you can slip on your shoes comfortably without that tight, uncomfortable feeling. When you can walk without that heavy sensation in your lower legs. That's not just a possibility. It's what happens when you give your body what it truly needs and stop feeding it what's causing the problem. Your cellular pumps want to work properly. They just need the right fuel. Starting today, focus on getting more potassium from avocados and leafy greens. Add some pumpkin or sunflower seeds for magnesium. Find a good source of vitamin B1, whether that's nutritional yeast or a quality B-complex supplement. And most importantly, start cutting out those refined carbohydrates that are creating the glycation and inflammation in the first place. Your body has an amazing ability to heal itself when you remove the obstacles and provide the building blocks it needs. I've seen it work in my own life, and I've seen it work for countless others over 60 who thought swollen legs were just something they had to live with. If this information was helpful, give this video a thumbs up so other seniors dealing with swollen legs can find it. Drop a comment below and let me know. Have you noticed swelling in your ankles and legs? What has your experience been? I read every comment, and I love hearing from you. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell, because in my next video, we're going to talk about the one food that's secretly causing inflammation throughout your entire body after 60, and it's probably sitting in your kitchen right now. You deserve to feel comfortable in your own body again. Take that first step today.